Being successful, as you know, includes being on top of what we need to do. But productivity is something that means different things to different people. So, what does this mean to you? How does Livia get to do all the things that she does to do and still have a fructiferous life?
I actually have a lot of people that ask me that question. How do you do everything that you get to do and still feel like you have time to relax? Well, I go often by, like I said at the beginning, I lead with my heart. I listen to and follow with my heart. And so I have many passions. And one thing that I love to do is just think about what fills me, what brings me joy, what makes me happy. And so that kind of leads into all the different projects and opportunities that I have a blessing to do and privilege to do. And then when you love what you do, then it feels easy. It doesn't feel like a chore. It's something that I think I've grown to love too. So like cooking and even doing laundry, like I've learned to not love it, but there's peace in that, right? And I'll just put on a podcast as I'm doing whatever work that I'm doing.
It's like a trip to the library in many ways.
Exactly. I just so happen to be folding clothes at the same time. But I think just understanding my priorities, like, I only have so much time. Time is a resource that is not renewable. And so when I look at my time, I write lists often, and then I think, what is it that I have to do in this time frame that I've been given? And then I work on it because I want to work on it. It's something that brings me joy. And then like I want to share. It's just really thinking about what do I have to do in the time frame that I have, and then being focused enough to do it. And I know that sometimes I have a number of things happening. Like sometimes I'll have many tabs open and my break is moving to something else, right? To be efficient, because things need to be done too. And so sometimes if I'm working on some writing, then my break might be to read an email. And I know some people find that distracting, but that is my break. And so then I get back to what I need to do. And I think when you start to think about what you love doing, then it doesn't feel like work. And then it just feels more efficient. You're not trying to force things out of yourself, right? And I think it's just the understanding, also understanding what I need when I am feeling overwhelmed with all the things that I have to do. It's just thinking, okay, what is the most important thing that I have to get finished first?
Yes.
And then
can you tell me more about your list?
Yes, I have. Well, I have a pretty good idea of what I need to do, but sometimes I need to see it in writing. And like, I know, like many people, we like to check off that list, right? Or cross it off. And then I make a new list. And so sometimes I have I use a lot of sticky notes. So I make a list on my sticky note, and then I actually put it on my laptop, like, right where your trackpad is, just to the side. Yes. And then that way, as soon as I open my laptop, then it's like, okay, these are the things I have to do. I'm not rethinking and, writing down a list again. And so there's kind of like that short-term list, and then that longer-term list of kind of projects that I have more time to spend on. But I feel quite efficient with my time in all the things that I have to do.
Wow. Let me ask you, how do you decide what has higher priority? Because you mentioned and emulated about what finds you joy, but then you had that list and you had to prioritize, right? How do you decide?
Well, so in my mind, there are some tasks that I can take care of really quickly. So like if it's an email, then it might take 5 or 10 minutes. So get that off my list. And then it's not on my list anymore, because then it comes back. It comes nagging at me, right? So sometimes it's getting rid of the little tasks first. And then I have fewer things on my list to do. And then the bigger projects, it's thinking about, well, if I have, so say, for example, I have a presentation that I'm doing at the end of January. So I used to be a big procrastinator. I do all my assignments like 2 days before when I was in university, but that didn't serve me well. So I've learned to kind of chunk and think, okay, if I have something that's due 3 weeks in advance, I need to work on it a little bit here, a little bit there, so that it doesn't feel like this big time crunch at the end. Ultimately, it still does, because that last 10% of any presentation, or, you know, takes the longest time because you want to make it the best that you can. But it's making sure that I spend enough time on it the weeks prior to, so that it doesn't feel like this big ominous project that I've left to last minute. So get rid of the small tasks first. Work the medium tasks. You have to work on a little bit at a time, depending on the time that you have. And the bigger tasks, it's, again, a little bit at a time. But and the thing is, when I start it, then when things come across my path, then I can insert it. Then because of Google Docs now, it's accessible 24/7 on any device. So when I think of something, then it's like, oh, I got to add that idea. So then I insert. And then that way it actually makes my projects more rich, because I've had 3 weeks to think about it rather than just the 1 week that I've allotted to it, right?
Thank you so much, Livia. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.